Hi and welcome to the Flatback 4 with me, Andy Maguire, and joining me this week, of course, is Scott Eaglin. How are you, mate?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Good, man, good. Listen, we haven't got Demi and Carl. Everyone's still very, very busy in isolation. Obviously, it's a very crazy, hectic lifestyle that we've all got at the minute, but they'll be jumping on the pod later on in the week, so look out for that. So, yeah, how's life today, mate? You all right?
Yeah, it's warm though, isn't it? It's getting warmer.
Yeah, I know.
Lockdown life's becoming, I don't know, it's becoming more of a routine now, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, it feels weird. You know, like I'm watching, because you know me, I'm flying off places and I do stuff. I have never been in the country as long, man. And for me, you like a routine and I don't. We're kind of like yin and yang with that, aren't we? And I feel, and I've told you, I'm kind of enjoying the little routine life a little bit. And I'm actually, part of me is going to be sad, but also I want to start making money again.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I am liking the routine and the, a little bit more. I'm trying to give myself a 9 to 5 and making myself work, which I think is really important for like your mental health as well. Like
Definitely.
Trying to keep in a routine. You like a routine. You've always told me I need a routine more. So
absolutely.
But I've enjoyed it. How have you been though? Like with this, because your world's been a bit. I know you're working, but your world's been a little bit turned upside down. So how have you liked a bit more sporadic part of this isolation?
It's been different, hasn't it? I mean, I've just been working from home, 7 till probably 5 every day. Yeah, it's been different. I mean, it's improved, to be honest, over the weeks and months, but I think it's just becoming more and more frustrating now that we're not seeing normality. Like today we saw like snooker back on screen. We saw what else did we see today? We saw horse racing back on screen.
Yeah, Newcastle have started, I think, up there as well.
Earlier I was watching some Danish football live on Free Sports. Of course you were.
Yeah.
Again, we said this every week, don't we, at the minute. It's weird to see everybody without a crowd.
But don't you think it's been weird as well, mate? The fact that we have gone from, it was literally nothing 2 or 3 weeks ago. When we were all talking on the podcast and stuff, and how everything kind of feels 90% normal, but a 10% raggedy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, a little bit. I don't want this to become normality. Do you know what I mean? But I think it will do short term. It will do over the next 2 or 3 months, won't it? Before we get back into actual normality, and probably 2021, probably, won't it? Or next season in football.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe without a crowd, but they're on about maybe feeding the crowds in, and if there's a 40,000, having 8,000 in there that they can.
So they were talking.
That'd be great.
They were talking about doing that in Russia. I was reading the other day that they were going to bring like a 10% crowd in to Russia, Russian stadiums, and then bringing them like 10-20% every few weeks and whatever, and then spacing them out in a venue. I think it's absolutely essential that we get a crowd in these sporting venues, man. But obviously health comes first, and if that takes weeks, months, next year, then so be it. But
I agree. I agree. Speaking of health, you just hit a good point there. They've done the testing, and apparently no Premier League player tested positive in the last round.
Yeah.
On this round, that's brilliant. I mean, obviously they're getting tested right, left, and centre, which is good. Obviously this week, since we did the last podcast, Championship's announced that's coming back on June the 20th. Obviously, us being fans of the Championship and being Leeds fans, we're obviously happy with that to a degree. I think some of the clubs are not happy. Apparently QPR are fuming about it.
You see the Mark Warburton this morning, wasn't it, who said that he's not happy about coming back, or some of his players aren't happy about coming back, and I think Lee Bowyer Lee
Bowyer were another one.
2 or 3 of his players are not happy about coming back. Listen, it's not going to please everybody, is it? There's going to be some players that are not going to want to come back, and the thing is, you can't force them to come back. If some players are going to come back and some aren't, then that's it, innit? The rule makers make the rules, and if we come back, we come back. But if some players don't want to, then so be it.
QPR.
How do you think we would be? How would we be if we were footballers? I don't know how we'd react. I think my overriding emotion would be, you want a ball at your feet, don't you? But I think we should be thinking more about the health aspect, shouldn't we?
I agree. I'm a glass half full, and I would. The thing is, there's so many, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. If we just break it down and we just say, look, the government have said you know, whether you like the government or not, we can go back to training. We can do full contact training. I'd be like, great, let's go.
Yeah.
That'd be my thing. Seeing a lot of ex footballers, Matty Holland, Jamie Redknapp, I think Graham Souness even said, if they get given, these are the most well protected, you know, probably people, you know, in the fact of in sport. So for me, I will be out there. I will be playing, and not running the risk, because I've been told that there's obviously a risk. I mean, there's a risk I could get hit by a bus if I go outside, or, you know, whatever. Yeah. But come on, let's try and get a bit of normality. Let's get back playing. And do you know what? If it goes wrong, let's say, if it goes pear-shaped, I was going to say the naughty word, but that's fine. But if it does go pear-shaped, then, you know, we have to do it. But I think it's really important that we start feeding this back in again. No surprise, maybe that Bowyer's maybe a little bit, and Charlton, because obviously scrapping for the line. QPR, I always think QPR are that kind of club, you know what I mean? Matt Warburton said that they'd only been given 40 minutes notice before the statement had gone out.
Yeah, there hasn't been much build-up to it, really, has there, in terms of the announcement? Do you know what I mean? Usually in football, if there's a big announcement, you hear, oh, there's going to be a decision made this Saturday or this Sunday. The Championship, for me, just came out of the blue, and I thought it was weird to announce it on a Sunday night, probably, like Margaret Warburton said, the day before training would necessarily resume on a Monday. So you've really got then less than a day's notice to resume full training. You know, right now you've got 2 weeks till we start playing again. Now you've got to, you know, they've got to change their whole training regime, haven't they, really? To plan for games, do you know what I mean? So listen, I appreciate where a lot of footballers are coming from. Some players have got different priorities to others. Some players live on their own and they're not doing anything and they've got no commitments. Other players, like a Troy Deeney, obviously he's got a kid that's at risk. You know,
that's a fair point. That
he's got his mind elsewhere, hasn't he? He's obviously got his mind focused on home life, and you know, I don't think Troy Deeney's not a money grabber. That's the wrong word, but I don't think he does it for the money. He does it for the love of football, and I think
I agree.
The reason that the Premier League is coming back is obviously because of money. It's not because of any other reason. If it was for any other reason, they'd do it when crowds are coming back. But I don't think necessarily really Troy Deeney needs the money. So he's obviously more focused on his kids, and like we say, different players will have different priorities.
That's a fair point, actually, when you say about the mentality of maybe a 19-year-old and a 33-year-old. You know, I get that. I do kind of understand that. And what you say about what you say about the money. Yeah, I know. I know. I mean,
straight away.
But we were trying to go out. I remember, you know, when the swine flu epidemic, it didn't stop us. You know, I mean, that was quite bad. But the mentality then, you know, but this now has affected my work tenfold. So, I think on the money thing, we know the Premier League is coming back for money, but I don't think we can actually just brush that under the carpet. That is just a thing of it's all about money. Because, well, yeah, it's all. I suppose everything is all about money, and it is about continuing, you know, the economy ticking over. There isn't going to be crowds in there, so I don't suppose people can go, oh, well, they're just wanting money out of the fans. There is no fans there. There is no fans. I think this goes a bit deeper than money, and I think sponsorships and maybe a lot of other stuff have a lot to do with it. But also, I don't care what anyone says, football is good for morale. It is good for morale, and I think trying to get some sort of normality, like you said, you don't want to be in this kind of thing forever. But I do think it's really important that we get it back. I really do.
I think one of the positives of all, mate, I don't know if you thought the same, was that all games are going to be live, which I think was probably the right thing to do. Credit's got to be given where credit's due, man. Sky Sports, you know, they're 25 live games. I know BBC have got given 4, but BT Sport weren't interested in giving their games free, were they really?
Even that's good, though. Even that's good with the BBC. I mean, you know, me and you, we're not massive fans of the BBC, and you know what comes out of there is, you know, but you know, fair enough. I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, it's the least that they owe, really.
Yeah, I think the other countries are, don't they? Some free football.
I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, apart from Match of the Day and an FA Cup every, God knows, you know, from January onwards, we get the odd few games. It actually is ridiculous. I know Sky and I know Murdoch. They own I know what it is and stuff and whatnot. And Sky's coverage is second to none. But still terrestrial telly, and that's why we pay a TV license. I think it is good for the whole country. My grandma would have watched it. She wouldn't have had Sky, but she'd have watched BBC and she'd have watched it.
Yeah, if football's free to air, man, people watch it. No matter, even like I was saying earlier, people watch Danish football if it's free to air. You know, people just love football.
We watched the South Korean, didn't we? We watched the South Korea game,
didn't we? touching on that, we were a fan of the. Oh, I don't know if you were actually. I were a fan of the fan noises. I don't think you were. Were you?
I was a fan of the fan noises. You was not for it at first.
Not at first, I wasn't. When I heard,
it was me that suggested it, and you went, "Oh, they can't do that. They can't do that."
Yeah.
You know.
I remember.
Sorry to people watching. This is just what we'll have our little bicker. But you weren't a fan of it. I remember you saying, "You can't do that. That's ridiculous." And I was like, "But the players are so focused on the game. Are they really caring about what is it? Obviously, they want the fans in, but just that bit of noise of like, you know."
I actually think.
I just think it's good.
The fan noise is probably more for the audience at home, innit? Just for a bit of atmosphere, and B, probably to drown out players swearing. Talking, you know what I mean? It's there's probably 2 points to that coming on board, but I wasn't a fan of it when it was first announced. But after listening to Bundesliga for the last 2 weeks, which, you know, when you've got that on your TV and you're at home, it's putting you to sleep material.
Yeah,
because
albeit there's been some really good games as well. You know, we'll just touch on. I mean, Dortmund. I know Paderborn are not very good and whatnot, but Sancho got a hat trick, good for England. Obviously, he's having a phenomenal season. I think that's his 19th goal and 15th assist. I mean, he's some player, isn't he?
He's some player, mate. He really is for the age. I saw a statistic today. What was it? It was comparing him with Foden, and I think he's got more goals and assists than Foden's got appearances. In general, for Man City,
not Foden's fault though, is it? Let's be honest.
Listen, that's not a disservice to Foden, is it? It's more to say to Man City, you know, why aren't you playing this kid? We've touched upon it with Foden before, man. I think he's probably one of Britain's brightest prospects in terms of midfield.
I agree. Do you think Sancho will come more important than Sterling?
Probably yes. Probably
because he's only 25, 26. Sterling. It's not like he's 32 and past it. Sterling's got 5, 6, 7 years.
I think that will depend on what Sterling's next move is, don't you? I think if Sterling were then to go to a Real Madrid, that'll be then another level up for Sterling. Whereas I think if
he go there? Will he? Would he go somewhere like that? In English, we know he'll be overpriced. Will clubs look at him?
He should. You know, I think me and you do bang on, don't we, about players going abroad?
Yeah.
I think it
benefits
players.
I'm a big 100%. Fan of it.
Yeah,
big fan of players going abroad. People don't seem to take the risk. I mean, it was fantastic when McManaman moved all them years ago. I remember that being a huge deal when McManaman went there, you know, because it wasn't like he was.
It was so rare, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and actually, Real Madrid don't make smart moves like that most of the time. They'll go on names, but actually, McManaman was probably even in the '90s. He was a world class player, I suppose, in the terms, but he wasn't that name on your tongue when you thought of the midfielders and that of the world. So for him to go there, I thought it was a fantastic thing. But I agree. Sterling, if he didn't make that move, that'd be brilliant. I just don't feel he ever will, personally.
Yeah.
But if I think they should, Sané is another one that's been linked with Bayern again today. We're going to talk on transfers. You know, I think even Sterling would be a good fit for Bayern and stuff like that. He is that good. I think, to be fair. I just want to go back, mate, to the Championship. The playoff final is rumoured to be around the 20th of July, and it says subject to change. So that's basically 4 weeks. So they're going to be playing a lot of football. I know you weren't a massive fan of the 5 substitutions. I don't really think it really matters, really. I think for the time that they've had off, I think it's pretty fair. Do you think the 20th of July is a realistic finishing point for the Championship with the games that are left?
Yeah, probably. You've got to remember, mate, what have we had off? We've probably had our best part of 3 months, haven't we, really? That is
more or less
some break when you think about it. When you think of a pre-season, he's probably from the end game of one season to start of pre-season training the next season. It's probably about 5 to 6 weeks, isn't it? These guys have had 3 full months off here. That's that's technically 2 season breaks, isn't it? So I think, like we said before, it'll probably take a couple of weeks to get up to full speed, and then once the season's finished, it will probably then roll into the next season. And you've got to think even then, next season we've got another winter break in the Premier League. So I don't think it'll cause major issues. We said from podcast 1, you know, if it takes us into next season, even if there's a week gap in between the last game of this season and the first game of next, absolutely do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a fair shout. 4 weeks game, you know, the Saturday, the Wednesday things. I mean, Championship, that obviously the FA Cup, no Champions League, and
they're not going to be full intensity, are they either?
No, I mean, do you know what? I'm really interested to see the results. Honestly, I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some 4-alls, 3-2s, 4-3s. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think actually a lot lately, you very rarely see the bottom team beating one of the top 2 or 3 nowadays. I know historically in the Premier League we've seen it quite a lot, but you will probably see that a lot more over the next couple of weeks. Although we touched upon it on last podcast, didn't we, that some clubs rely on that crowd, and a team like a West Ham or I don't know, maybe like a Brighton, maybe you haven't got that reliance there on a crowd, that you might see some shock results even when they're playing some of the lesser teams.
But that's why I even said on the flip side of it, maybe, Brighton, say, they need a crowd behind them. But like I said, they've won 3 or 4 games all season. So, like I said, I think there's just a couple of arguments. Maybe they may play a little bit more relaxed without a crowd there. So I'm going to just put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot later as well. Yeah. But do you think there's going to be a team or teams that might come back and just crack under this after such a long break? Liverpool, I know that they lost just before and they got a couple of bad results, but they're 2 wins away or whatever, or not, they're not even a win away from the Premier League really. A couple of draws and whatnot. Do you think there's anyone that might crumble? I'm talking Championship as well. Do you think anyone's going to buckle?
I think the teams that will buckle will probably be the teams who didn't make the decision as soon as lockdown was announced that they didn't go into still full training at home. I'm thinking about, let's compare it to Leeds, and let's actually praise Marcelo Bielsa here. When Leeds went into lockdown, they carried on training at like a high intensity. They just continued where they left off. Really, I think the teams that will fall or fail towards the latter part are probably the teams that reacted not the quickest, the slowest. Sorry, the teams that reacted the slowest, and probably only caught up with the players maybe after 2 or 3 weeks after lockdown. So they're probably about 2 or 3 weeks behind.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And it is funny, isn't it? Like, I think maybe some of the players, you'd think maybe the young players keep themselves fit, but actually we've seen a couple of them. I mean, obviously Kyle Walker being the older part of that. Would the older players maybe be a little bit more focused? Maybe James Milner, Gareth Barry, I'm talking them older players. I know Gareth Barry is, is not in the Premier League anymore, but them kind of professionals will have still prepped as hard because they know that when no one knew how long this break was going to be. Yeah. So it's going to be, for me, it's going to be interesting to see how the younger lads come forward and see how they are. Keep that standard up because you've got to be ready for action anytime.
We saw with Grealish, didn't we? And a couple of the other players, Hudson-Odoi. Was it Hudson-Odoi or a couple of other
Hudson-Odoi got in trouble. Yeah.
So clearly their focus wasn't right, was it? And that was even towards the back end of lockdown. Like we say, it just depends on who took it the most serious. I saw a lot of James Milner, and James Milner's obviously the shining light of the Liverpool team. He took it seriously, didn't he? And he was training every day and at it every day.
I mean, let's be honest, Scott. Let's be honest. We're not saying that players have to work out 10 hours a day. That's not the issue. But we're on about a mental focus and the fact that we have seen a couple of players, break curfew. I'm on about maybe the ones with family that have got a bit more of the routine life that maybe is not a bad thing. They've got the kids and they're waking up, they do the training, they speak to the dietitians and they're keeping well. The younger, and we've been there, you fall off, you have a few extra drinks. It's going to be interesting to see who comes back switched on.
Particularly if they're not monitored as much. I know they have all been monitored, all these teams, but it's really difficult at the minute to monitor from home. You can't look, when your players training, you can't watch them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working from home at the minute. I manage a team. It's extremely difficult to monitor. Your players or your staff or whoever from home when you're not when you're not actually with them. It's really difficult. So
just you don't manage a football team. Let's just put that out there. You manage your work team.
Not yet. Not yet.
He's still waiting for the call. Yeah, he's still waiting for the call on that one. But so I mean, I think you are right though about Bielsa. We all know he's a workhorse, and we know that the players have worked hard. I think a couple of the lads were on Sky Sports saying that they feel just as knackered as they do, which I suppose is a good thing. Obviously, with the weather as well, it's been good. So moving on, I just want to talk about now that we're trying to get some normality on things. Transfers. Now we've seen that Igalo has signed up now until the end of January.
Yeah.
It's still a funny one for me, that one, but he played well. He had played well when he come in, so deserving of that, because apparently at the end of this he's signing a 400 grand a week deal at Shanghai Shenhua.
The whole transfer was weird, wasn't it? I think everybody looked at it like, out of all the strikers in the world, why do you pick somebody who's 30-year-old? Did okay in the Premier League. He's done well in China, but me and you could probably do well in China. I probably still could. But it probably wasn't the transfer that Man United fans wanted. But it has worked out, and it's worked out really well. The loan agreement, I think, is quite weird in that you're going to have him for the back end of this season and the first end of next season, or the first half of next season.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm planning for my next season, right, what am I doing in January? Have they got something else lined up? You know, if you're planning a team to play a certain way, and I would assume that Igalo's probably going to be at the forefront, if not at least on the bench. You know, you're going to be planning around him. Well, those plans are going to go out the window after 6 months. Who do you go to then?
I agree. I mean, I suppose as well, I said, you know, what about if he comes in and scores 15? He probably won't, because he probably won't be starting. But say if there's injuries in it, or he comes on every 60 minutes and starts banging in goals, you know, does that change the situation? Or it's weird when you have a player. It's always a risky. Well, it's not risky, but it's great if a lone striker, you know, comes in and does the job for you. But then, like you said, the whole signing is very strange. The loan system, how this has worked.
It's weird because, you know, me and you have been brought up in an era where Man United, you know, like Roy Keane said on that interview, just go and get Kane. You know, Man United historically would have just gone out and got the best player in the Premier League. They would have historically.
Van Persie is a prime example.
Yeah. Whoever the top goal scorer is in the Premiership, Man United just go out and buy him. They buy him to win the Premier League, and now they're buying, well, they're loaning 30-year-old strikers from the Chinese Super League. It just, it's just not the norm, is it? But that's the Man United that are living at the minute.
That's true. A couple of other links, Arsenal links. David Luiz is confident that he wants an Arsenal stay. I think I smell a move to Boca Juniors or
I think a return to like Cruzeiro, don't you?
I think I don't think Arteta's a fan.
No, I don't think. I was never a fan, to be honest with you. I never really saw that.
I was a fan of him as a footballer. I think he's a great footballer, but as a defender, I mean, he'd be just a nightmare.
I don't know about you, mate, but I lost count of the amount of times I heard people say, "Do you know he'd be a great defensive midfielder?" How many managers have played him at defensive midfielder?
I agree.
You know, I persisted with him.
Agree with that.
All persisted with him at centre back, and he's flattered to deceive at centre back, isn't he?
I think the thing about David Luiz, which is it must be so frustrating, because you'll see him one game at the back and you go, and it's 93rd minute and he's just won a blinding header. You think, wow, he has been unbelievable this game. And then game after, he'll be playing maybe against lesser opposition and he'll make two stupid mistakes. He looks clumsy and you think, how? Is that a mentality thing? He's 34 years old now. You know, he can't get rid of them mistakes sometimes, can he?
It's like one of them, isn't it? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, particularly at this age. But it's weird that no manager really has worked with him, you know, to make him into a better defender. Just thinking about some of the managers that he worked under. I mean, when he went to PSG, I was a bit shocked that they even spent 50 million on him.
50 million at the time, yeah.
Unbelievable. But is David Luiz a better defender now? Has he improved since he was 24, 25 when he first came over? Probably not.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like you say, on his day he can be fantastic, but for Arsenal, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. We spoke about it on the podcast before. Arsenal need a spine. David Luiz ain't going to be part of that spine. Not a chance.
No,
Arsenal want to progress anytime in the future, anytime in the next few years, and David Luiz ain't going to be that person. He's probably going to be the right personality around the place in terms of his experience.
Yeah.
But in terms of footballing talent and leadership on the pitch, probably not.
I mean, it would probably the most. If you was an Arsenal fan, I mean, you would look at that and go, right, we need someone who's a defender, maybe who's been in the Premier League. Right, there's quite a few options. You just wouldn't have wanted to read the name David Luiz, because you go, well, that's everything that we don't want, really. We want someone who's just solid.
If you're an Arsenal fan, you know, you're a big fan of Arsenal TV, man, and you know. I know they like the rants on a bit. You know, if I were an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be wanting a David Luiz. I'd be wanting somebody who's really unfashionable. Somebody like I don't know, like a Tarkowski or a Ben Mee. Yeah,
Ben Mee. I think he's a great player.
We've shouted about this before, haven't we? Why the hell didn't they go buy Johnny Evans? I have no idea. You know,
for me it was a no-brainer.
It was madness, mate. But you know, Arsenal over the last 10, 12 years have never bought a defender like that, have they? You know,
No.
and Arsenal fans will be the first ones to say.
Frustrating.
They'll be the first ones to say that that's absolutely what they've been crying out for.
I agree. No, I agree. Another one who we thought might be linked, it wasn't really official. We thought, you know, maybe Icardi, but he has just now sealed that move to PSG. I mean, it was always maybe a long shot that maybe anyone in the Premier League might go for him. I think he's world class. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah. But
he's right up there for
will
me.
that open the door for any departures at PSG? Mbappe,
Well, Cavani's
Neymar,
obviously,
Cavani.
yeah. I mean, Cavani's getting on. I think Mbappe may do another year before that Real Madrid, Barcelona move. I don't know. The more I think about Mbappe, I think, is he just leading the way for when Messi goes, that they just go and buy Mbappe at 20, 22 years old or whatever, and he'll have 10 years at Barca. I don't know. He speaks great English, so he could end up at the Premier League. But this is what I was saying. Man U back in the day, Arsenal would have gone and got him a young Anelka, a young Henry. So I don't associate, and I don't know whether that's the Premier League's the best league in the world, but why is Mbappe not linked with the Premier League?
Probably money.
As much as it should be.
Yeah, probably money in it. I think the days are probably gone where the Premier League could, you know, outspend everybody else in Europe. You know, there are some new players now in terms of like a PSG who can go out and get him on loan for a season and then spend 180 million. Can an English club take that risk? Not a risk. Well, it is a risk really to spend that amount of money on anybody. But is there a club in England that could spend that amount of money? Because he's probably going to demand an even bigger fee now. So that's probably putting a lot of clubs off. But
yeah,
you know,
I agree.
We said it before, haven't we, that he'd fit right into that Liverpool team.
Oh God, I think it'd be frightening. I just think it would be one of the not missing pieces, because I don't really think they're missing that many pieces, but just what an addition. If you want to go on and dominate, for me, you've got to go get Mbappe, go get that world class midfielder. Yeah, just keep it fresh. You know, get your right squad players, and I think Klopp's got it in him. To go out and get that.
He's one of those managers in either way who's not going to stick to the same squad. You know, even if they are winning, he's going to want to improve. You know, I've seen Salah linked elsewhere, and I don't doubt that, you know, Klopp would probably bring in somebody to improve on even Salah. Yeah,
well, bring me up on that then. You like the player from Leverkusen, don't you? Havertz.
Yeah, brilliant.
However you want to pronounce it.
Yeah,
Kai Havertz. He seems some player, kind of gone. You know, he's one of them players kind of in Europe that goes under the radar to a degree. I think people have stood up and made notice of him this season. But well-rounded player, probably could fit into any four, like an Arsenal if they got rid of Aubameyang, or
he'd slot into any of them clubs, any of the top four clubs. He's very much of a Kaka style player. You know, he's very elegant. You know, he's got a great first touch. Really calm on the ball. You know, for his age, he just looks just really calm on the ball. His decision making is fantastic. Another player that was at Hoffenheim, Baumgartner, who was fantastic. I've seen of him so far, brilliant. Those are probably the two players that have stood out to me in Bundesliga. Cunha as well at Hertha Berlin, Brazilian winger, he's been fantastic.
Is that the guy with the really good feet?
Oh, he's brilliant.
Got magic feet, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Brazilian, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kai Havertz probably stands head and shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, like we said the other day, I think on the review show that, I mean, Bayern have probably got that, you know, league tied up now and stuff. But it's going to be interesting with Dortmund and some of the players there. Like they'll lose. Dortmund tend to lose players, but then they always do kind of buy, and you go, they kind of just pick up where they left off, don't they?
Yeah.
They're a very well-owned machine.
I feel like they're like a Champions League Southampton. You know, they'll sell the best assets, but then bring in somebody who will end up being better. Do you know what I mean?
I think we got the thumbnail, pal.
Yeah.
I think we got that thumbnail. No, you are right. You know, I mean, I never thought I'd hear Borussia Dortmund and Southampton in the same breath. You know, Danny Ings and Marco Reus, you know, linking up 1-2. No, but you are right. They're a very, I mean, it's that standard German machine.
Yeah, I was just going to touch upon that. I was watching Borussia Dortmund the other night. Mario Götze leaving at the end of the season. We were talking about him, weren't we? About his career since the World Cup final. We said, didn't we?
Yeah.
We watched the World Cup final together when he scored that goal. We both said to each other, what's going to be his motivation now? You know, you win the World Cup, what next?
Yeah.
And where's his career gone since then?
He got ill, didn't he? He got that weird. Didn't he get like a weird kidney thing, or it was something weird, wasn't it? That he had. It was quite an unusual thing, and he went quite fat, and then he lost his weight. Then he looked a bit out of sorts. But yeah, it's a funny one, isn't he, Gutser? Because what a player! I mean, literally, what a player! I mean, he literally. I've said literally 3 times, but he was that kind of player. When you win the World Cup at 24 and you've done it, you've literally done everything. So. It's kind of a sad thing. Who will give a shout on him? I mean, people must be sniffing.
Oh, if it's a free transfer. I mean, listen, hey, if Newcastle have got these big owners coming in, you take a punt on.
That's a shout.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a shout.
If he's
Mario Götze walking around Newcastle City Centre, going into that mushroom bar, and that'd be interesting.
But you know, if they're going to aim and want to progress, I mean. You know, we said that Mario Götze has probably not had the best career since the World Cup final, but no better place to, relight that flame at a club like Newcastle, where, if you start off well, they will take to you like a duck to water, won't they?
That's true. It's like it's got that. Maybe would probably have that Ginola type feel that
like cult hero sort of.
Yeah, cult. Yeah, I mean, again, I can't believe I'm thinking Götze and Newcastle in the same breath, but you're right. That's a big shout. To be fair, you watch. I mean, he'll probably end up at Al Hilal.
Breaking news: Mario Götze to Toronto.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's probably he wants to go for the project. Always talk about the project. Yeah. I mean, the whole Newcastle thing's going to be quite crazy. Whether they keep Steve Bruce and Pochettino's being linked. I mean, it's not these days. It's not even what managers and players. It's managers, isn't it?
Would you keep Steve Bruce?
I think it'd be very harsh to sack someone without giving him a transfer window with a bit of money. Steve Bruce has been at clubs where it's not exactly piled with money. You never know. Why pay Pochettino 45 million? Give it to Bruce. Just see. Yeah. But I don't know. It's very hard, mate, because it
really sounded like you were going to say give it Giggsy till the end of the season. Sorry. Carry on.
No, but you know what I mean. It's just really hard, isn't it? To like. It's not like he's done a bad job. They're not relegation. They've flirted and stuff with it, but he hasn't had the squad. Joe Linton's flattered to deceive. I like Almiron. I think he could be good, but he hasn't scored. They've got they've got characters that. I mean, what happens? Actually, it's good that you brought this up. The Longstaff brothers. What happened? I wouldn't be happy if I were them thinking, "Damn, oil money's coming in."
Oh, 100%, mate. 100%. If this is my club and I've been brought up through this club and it's had that same sort of image, same owner all the way through, that same sort of mentality, and then that completely changes as soon as a new owner comes in. You're thinking, right, am I going to be part of this team? Is this going to be the Newcastle United that I fell in love with? Because we've seen in the past with takeovers that clubs have transformed their image. Man City are not the same club that they were 20 years ago. Chelsea. Obviously they're the money coming in, but they're kind of the same club. But we've seen in the past, haven't we, where money comes in and the club totally changes. I think it'd be difficult for them, particularly because obviously they're not top 6 level as yet. But I think if they were to stick with Newcastle and if they were to stick with Steve Bruce, then they could potentially progress there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I just again think youth system and whatever, and I'd be seeing oil money. I'd be thinking. Newcastle was probably a club that you could get in there and maybe have a chance of breaking into the first team.
Yeah.
But listen, we'll sit back and we'll see. I'm going to put you on the spot, right?
Okay.
I want you to give me a player. I want you to give me a player this season that you think has maybe gone right under the radar. Someone who you think's potential, or even if he's an older player, just someone who you think has not maybe got the credit they deserve. Going to give you 30 seconds.
What a question. What a question.
I'll tell you what, while you're having a think.
You tell me yours.
I'll tell you mine. Mine has been Connor Cody.
Wow.
What a player that lad is.
Go on.
I love his mentality. I love the way he leads. I think he's in a great team. I think people are looking up to him. I really enjoyed the interview we did on Sky Sports with Carragher. And I just look at him and I think, yeah, you're everything I'd want in my football team.
Yeah.
And I think, and Arsenal, if they were looking, why look any further? I mean, why would he go there? He's in a successful Wolves team. but he for me is bang up there with some of the best in the Premier League.
When you first said it, I mean, if you were to give me 5 or so minutes, I could probably think of somebody better. But when you first said it, I did think of this player, and he has had a lot of plaudits, to be fair, but he kind of has gone under the radar, and that's Soyuncu at Leicester. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think when Maguire was sold, I think a lot of Leicester fans probably thought, oh right, this is going to be our downfall. Where do we go from here? And he has just slotted into that Maguire position, hasn't he? It's like he's not been. It's like Maguire's not been away. Him and Evans at the back have been fantastic. That back four with Chilwell and Ricardo is fantastic, and he has just slotted in there. And if you'd have asked me 12 months ago, mate, me and you, we wouldn't have had a clue who he was, would we? Not a clue.
No, not a clue. Well, like last time I saw him play was when he was in Shrek.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. But you look at that spine at Leicester, and I know we've touched upon that before, but that spine of Schmeichel, Soyuncu and Evans, Tielemans, Maddison and Vardy. Look at that for a spine. I mean.
Yeah.
And then if you've got that spine, you can have players playing off like a Perez, like a Damari Gray, like you play off this spine. But that
I'm a big fan of Perez. I'm a big fan of him. I thought that was a nice move to Leicester.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good move.
Right.
The lad from City didn't work out. What's he called?
Who?
Striker.
Oh, Iheanacho.
At Leicester now. Yeah, Iheanacho, yeah. Not really kicked on, but I think that was a good move to that kind of club. But so Soyuncu and Connor Cody, I think, again, funny that, defenders as well, but I just think Connor Cody's really, really stood out in a team that's done really well, that played a lot of games as well, mate, that played a lot of football since last July.
For a man that used to be a midfielder.
That's true, yeah, and that was interesting in him talk about Carragher. Carragher said, "I wasn't sure about you." It was quite refreshing. So that proves to me that he's a hard worker as well. And I think if that England call had come, we're going about Tyrone Mings, I think Connor Cody would slot straight into that team.
Level's head.
I agree.
Look, I'm looking forward to the Premier League though, man. I'm looking forward to it starting.
Me too.
Connor Cody and Soyuncu will probably be terrible in the first few games.
And they'll probably be sold.
Yeah.
Sold out the season. But listen, we have got some announcements coming up as well. Please subscribe, share on whatever. Follow us on our social media platforms. They are on there, as you can see. But for now, Scott, I will see you very soon, mate.
Thank you, mate. Speak soon.
See you, man. Bye-bye.